up, dudes? Welcome back to another video. I know it's been a while since I've made one, but here we are. First and foremost, Happy New Year's to everybody. As the title says, you know, bye-bye R34, hello RX-8. So we are up at the Mazda Turnpike, the rest area. We have, you know, the beautiful Mount Fuji out there in the background, and then we have the RX-8 over here somewhere, and I guess I'll give you guys a tour of the car and kind of talk about what the plans are with this thing and what happened to the 34 and so on and so forth. But I guess without further ado, let's give you a tour of the RX-8. All right, so what we got here is a 2005 Mazda RX-8. This particular car has a bunch of goodies from R34. Starting in the front here, we can look at the bonnet. We have a carbon Amamiya hood on there with the Amamiya bumper. If we take a look at these like eyelids, I'm pretty sure these are from R-Magic. I'm not 100% sure, but they look familiar to the R-Magic one, so that's what I'm gonna guess that they are. In the front here, we have a big ol' massive front mount intercooler with an additional R34 oil cooler. Here in a minute, I'll pop the hood and show you what's in there and all the goodies that we got. But in the meantime, let's check out the wheels. So what we have here are some Volk Racing GTCs, which are arguably one of my favorite wheels from Volk. Unfortunately, these are 19s, so they're actually pretty big. They're kind of donk status on this RX-8. I would definitely prefer some 18s, so that's probably what's going to happen in the not so near future. So we'll see what happens, but what we have up front here are 19 by 8.5 plus 35, I believe, running a 245 in the front, some Advan 8008Rs, and in the rear here we have 19 by 9.5 plus 35, I believe, running a 265. Alright, if we transition here into the back, we have a R34 GT wing. The clear coat on this has definitely seen better days. We'll get that resprayed and refinished at one point in time, but for right now, it is what it is. And then we also have the R34 carbon tails, which I really like. Exhaust-wise, we have the R34 Dolphin style exhaust. I don't think it's going to show up underneath there, but it is a full exhaust. One of the cool things about this car, and also kind of peculiar to the history of it, so like I have about 10 to 12 years worth of receipts for this car. Don't know who the previous owner was, but if you take a look, and hopefully this shows up on the camera, but if you take a look at the gas cap, there's a rotor like embedded into the paint. So I'm guessing at one point in time there were stickers. There's some type of big old graphic along the side of the car here. It's since been taken off, and it looks like the paint has kind of like faded because that sticker was on there. And then you have here, again, I don't know if this will show up in camera, but hopefully it does. You have a big old katana across the side of the car, and then you have some bamboo leaves as well. So kind of cool, interesting. It's definitely an older styling type graphic. You know, you don't really see that type of stuff so much anymore. So maybe this car was a demo car at some point in time. I'm not really sure. Like I said, a lot of the receipts actually are from Amamiya. So when this car runs out of shotgun sometime in April, I'll go back and see if he remembers the car and see if I can dig up some history about it. Let's pop the hood and I'll show you what's inside. Alright, so if we take a look at the engine bay here, I guess starting off, the thing that's most pronounced is this intercooler piping and intake. So the car is actually turbocharged. If you didn't already guess by the intercooler, it has a trusted ready kit on the car. So, and actually this thing's been on here according to receipts for about 10 years now. So somewhere down in here, I don't know if this is going to show up, probably not. It's kind of dark in there, but there's a little turbo in there. It's only making, I don't know, 6 or 7 pounds, so nothing too crazy, but just enough for the Renesis motor. Gets up and goes, and it makes around, I don't know, 300 crank. Has a dyno sheet for around 270-ish, so it's quite a bit for this chassis, I'd say. It's really enjoyable to drive, and it makes all the cool sounds. So the drivetrain, engine, chassis, everything has about 64,000 kilometers on the car, which is about 40,000 miles. So engine-wise, you know, it's not necessarily rebuild time, but I actually had a compression test done not that long ago, and front and rear both came back around 115 average. So it's still a healthy engine. You know, fingers crossed that everything stays that way. Some other bits and pieces on the car here. We have some Amamiya oil cap and radiator cap, just for some aesthetics, and then we have an RE Amamiya battery relocation kit with the catch can. Catch can has a small oil leak, like a pinhole leak somewhere that needs to be fixed. I'll get around to doing that at some point in time. We have some, I don't know if I mentioned already, but you have some RE Amamiya DG5 coilovers, and then behind this plate here you have a Amamiya radiator. So this car is honestly decked out with so many RE Amamiya bits. It has basically the catalog thrown at it, for engine bay, suspension, exterior, etc., minus the side skirts, which I want to end up getting. It does have the rigid collar set as well, so this car is really set up. It's a blast to drive. It's phenomenal. And so I guess what's next is I can show you the interior here. Right, so interior-wise, we have some Recaro SR3s in here, the Tommy Kaira edition. To my knowledge, I don't think Tommy Kaira ever messed with Mazda. It was just Nissan and Subaru. Correct me if I'm wrong there, but these actually came out of my 34 Skyline. And I'll talk about the Skyline in here in just a little bit, but I basically just bought the rails for the SR3s. Slap these in here. It kind of fits the red and black theme that's going on with the old school, red and black checkered floor mats. All right, so if we take this floor mat out and remove this kick plate, is that what they're called? The car is running on a Greddy E-Management ECU. So this is pretty old school. Again, with the kit, I think this is about 10 years old, but it still drives fantastic. The tune on it's great. As they say, if it ain't broken, don't fix it. So that's gonna stay in the car for, until anything major happens, and I go back NA with a rebuild, or I can afford, some type of upgrade ECU-wise. But I don't really see the point, considering this thing's been in here and running for the last 10 years or whatever, and it's been phenomenal. So if you take a look at the gauges up here, we have an RE Amamiya Greddy collaboration. What are these called? Like instrument digital display. Top being like coolant temp, and then we have battery, and then we have RPM. This can be programmable to a bunch of different stuff. And then up here we actually have 3 Greddy gauges, sorry, Defi gauges, one for boost, one for water temp, and then one for oil temp. And this might be a Mazda speed gauge pillar, I'm not sure. Then we have a carbon, little carbon bits around the car, door pieces and whatnot. So previous owner of this car put some money into just small little aesthetic bits, and it's pleasing. I really enjoy the red and black theme we have going on in here. And then for wheel, we just have this Momo wheel, Momo horn button and whatnot. All right, so there we have it. There is the RX-8. I might have forgot a few things, but nonetheless, it's a fantastic car. I'm enjoying it a lot. We actually have a track day scheduled, first ever track day for me. I'm obviously excited, but pretty nervous at the same time, at Fuji Speedway Short sometime, I don't know, in a month or two or something. So obviously be filming that and take you guys along for the ride and kind of talk about how that's gonna go. But I guess what we can do now is we can head up into the rest area and kind of see what's here. Just give you a tour around the area. I'm sure you've seen it before in other videos, but I'm just going to talk about what my plans are with the RX-8 and what I'm gonna do with the R34, because I still have that. So I guess let's just walk around for a bit. So to answer the question, I still have the R34. So then you might ask, why do you have an R34 and an RX-8? And it just, to get the R34 to where I would want it, where I'd be happy with it, would cost way too much money. Basically, when I bought it, being auto, I thought, manual swap for cheap, it shouldn't cost that much, parts aren't all that expensive. And then, here, 2020 comes around, 2021, and sure enough, kind of everything doubles or triples in price. So that means parts go up as well. So a lot of the shops that I was talking to were quoting me, around, I don't know, $8,000 to $10,000 to put a manual transmission in the 34. And for that price, it just doesn't make sense, because after that, it's wheels, tires, coilovers, front mount, turbo, the list goes on and on and on and on. And so $8,000 to $10,000 is not what I kind of budgeted when I originally bought it, to put a manual transmission in it. So for that money instead, I just went ahead and bought the RX-8. So I guess second question to answer is why RX-8? And I guess that kind of stems from having driven the RX-7 and just wanting more doors, right? So I'm a fan of 4 doors. The RX-7 is technically 4 doors. It's kind of cheating, 2 plus 2, whatever they call it. But it has 4 doors, so it's easy and accessible to have passengers in the car, etc., and fit them comfortably. Whereas something like an FDRX7, you have to be extremely small or a child to be able to fit in the rear seats. It's just not going to happen. So for something that's streetable, that's fun to drive, and kind of checks all the boxes, an RX-8 kind of did that just for me. So when I was looking for an RX-8, this particular one popped up, just right time type thing, and I kind of jumped on it, and sure enough, here we are. So I guess in the case of this RX-8, it is bought, not built, but yeah, I'm okay with that. The amount of work that is done to it, the amount of money that I have, that I've added up in receipts is a tremendous amount, something that I wouldn't plan on putting into an RX-8 anytime in the near future, right? So for what it is, how well it's set up, it was a bargain. So I'm excited for this car. I'm excited to get some seat time with it. I hope you guys like this car, and I hope you guys are excited to see some content. If you can't tell already, we have some new gear. We have a new Sony camera. We did some cinematics and whatnot with some of the previous videos. So that's kind of the angle and direction I want to head into, is kind of just doing general vlogs of some cool stuff that pops up, some event coverage, doing attending events and driving myself, and then transitioning and trying to do some cinematic stuff. So again, if you like this type of content, consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.